Hey everybody, Robert Walden here. I wanted to spend a little time today to talk about Shopify and your page load times. Page load times and your website load times or your website speed is often something people neglect. It's something that over the years I've definitely been aware of and even tried to spend time improving. But it's also something that's, unless you're really an expert on development or coding or optimization, um, then you're really going to have a hard time knowing what to do or where to start. So go back a year or two. Our page load speeds were somewhere between the area of 4 and 6 seconds, which for an e-commerce site is really not very good, and you're usually losing money hand over fist because of the poor conversion or because of the poor page load speeds. And it's really quite common to have a load speed that high, especially with all of the different apps that we're adding to our store these days. They're all making tons of web requests off to different places where different scripts and images and files are stored, and it really can start to bog down your site. And we got into that situation quite a while back to where we got really, really high page load times, and it was just really hurting our bottom line. It slows down your website, and then people just don't stick around. So I actually had the luck of running into somebody when I was visiting San Diego earlier this year, running into somebody that specializes on working on lowering page load speeds for Shopify sites. And usually when you find someone that is offering that service, they're going to go in there and they're going to spend time compressing your images. They're going to maybe identify maybe an application or two that you have installed that's taken a long time to load, and they'll recommend you remove that. And that's generally as far as it goes. And it's just not a very, very good service usually, and you don't get great results. And that's kind of the experience that I had until I ran into this individual. Now, this individual goes well beyond just removing images. He is actually a full stack developer and specializes in programming and coding for Shopify sites, and he spends time digging into every single thing that's loaded across all the different pages of your site, looks at all of the different requests that are being made both on the site and off the site to load files. And really it comes down to, there's a lot of things that affect how long it takes before you see the first painting of the web page, before you start seeing the first images and the first content of your web page. There's a lot more than just applications. There's style sheets and scripts and all sorts of different things that can get very complicated. But this guy spends time really drilling down and figuring out exactly what's slowing down your site. And then he starts to chisel away at one thing at a time. And sometimes it's really quick and easy, and he can make a minor adjustment and increase your page load speed by a huge amount. Other times he'll need to spend a little more time and remove things a little bit at a time to increase your speed. But I wanted to kind of not only just talk about that in general, but kind of show you the results that we've had. We actually hired him earlier in the year because our speed was between like 4.5 to 6 seconds on average, which is pretty terrible. And then he was able to get us down to somewhere around 2.5 seconds, which is amazing for a Shopify site. Not most Shopify sites are even near that. They're usually all 3 to 4 plus seconds. And that was all well and great. But then after a while, one of the applications that we used got updated because they made changes to it. And once that happened, all of a sudden they had changed their code, and now we were getting way more HTTP requests, and it was slowing the site down again. And then I also had added a couple of random applications when I was trying to find an app for some functionality that we needed. And those were not developed very good, and they also slowed down the site. So we had him come on again here recently. You can look at the last 30 days or so here. We started trending up in October. We went from 3.17 to 3.46 all the way to 4.27, which is terrible. And then I enlisted his help right around that time. And this is by week. You can see the next week we were down to 2.93, now 2.20. And I think if we look at today, we are at an astounding 2.04 seconds. Look at this. United States, 1.81 seconds. That is freaking amazing. And we're going to just recover so much sales from that because of how quickly we're loading, that it's just unbelievable. A few quick stats that I learned when I was researching page load speed and the impact it had. And I mean, there's lots of different things. Amazon had actually demonstrated that every 100 milliseconds of latency resulted in a 1% loss in sales for them. That's really huge. So every 100 milliseconds, so between 1.8 to 1.9, they'd lose 1% of all sales from that page. And another study found that across a bunch of data, that conversion rates dropped an average of 4.42% with each additional second of load time between 0 to 5 seconds. So the first 5 seconds being the most critical. After that, it doesn't really matter as much. But so if you, let's say the difference between loading at 5 seconds and the difference between loading at 2 seconds, that's a 3-second difference. So you're roughly looking at 13% drop in conversion rate, which, you know, may not be gigantic, but if you look at 5 or 10% conversion rate increase over 6 to 12 months, especially if you're doing heavier volume, that can actually amount to tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's so easy. All you're doing is changing how quickly your site loads. So it's just majorly important, and not even just the conversion rates, but if you get any traffic organically through Google, you're going to find that you're not going to rank very well if your site isn't fast. The faster sites are going to rank near the top, and they're going to get more traffic. So if you're not keeping your site loading fast, they really look at that really heavily. And then I've even heard of rumors that Facebook ads algorithms will actually penalize sites that are providing poor experience because of slower loading websites. So that'll affect your click-through rate and your CPMs and your overall return on those advertisements. So it's actually really, really huge. So really, it's one of the easiest things you can fix. It doesn't involve having to go out and find a new hot selling product. It doesn't involve having to spend lots of money testing different audiences or running ads on different platforms. Really, all you need to do is have someone that knows what they're doing, spend some time optimizing your site. And, you know, there may be a little bit of a cost associated with that, but no matter what it is, you're going to make it back in the long run because you're going to get so much benefit from increasing your conversion rates that it's going to be amazing. So anyway, I kind of just wanted to share my results there. I feel very strongly about gaining performance from increasing or lowering the amount of time it takes for you to load your site. And I mean, if you can look at my results here, this is a Shopify site, and I never see these kind of load speeds when looking at Shopify sites. You can see that even if I look back at the last 30 days, some of these countries that are really far away from where we're hosting are still loading really fast. The UAE is 2.38 seconds. Puerto Rico, Singapore, all of these. Some of these are just really, really, really fast. And before we adjusted anything here, some of these countries were terrible. They were like 20, 30 seconds, and nobody is going to buy anything if they have to wait 20 or 30 seconds for a page to load. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of put that out there. If any of you are interested in having someone take a look and optimize your site, let you know how quickly they think they can get your site loading, reach out to me. I'd be happy to share my guy that I use. He works wonders. He's worked on our sites twice now, had amazing results every time. I've shared it with others, and they've had amazing results. It's just one of those no-brainers. You know, if you can get past spending a little bit of money for his fee, bottom line, you're gonna make more money, and that's what we're all trying to do. So look below in the show notes. I'll link to a page you can either fill out a form to contact me, or you can go under the About section of my channel, find my email, and reach out to me, and I'll help you out. Thanks.